Welcome back. We are broadcasting live. We are in our nation's capital. President Trump has laid out an ambitious agenda for a second term, now planning to tackle the border crisis, economic ruin, countless other disasters that Joe Biden, Kamala Harris left behind. How does Congress plan on enacting Trump's agenda? Here to weigh in, we continue with Speaker Johnson, joined by House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, and House GOP Conference Chair Lisa McClain. Congratulations. Good to see you. How are you all?
Great.
Okay. So nobody's going to get everything they want, Steve. We've been friends a long time. Do we agree on the fundamentals? In other words, you all win together, the country wins together, or we all lose together. There's no in between.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, you can see President Trump's focus is so much sharper. He really recognizes, you know, he was spared by God to get to this moment, and we have unified government. We have an opportunity that you don't get often. We've got to make this work. And if you do, and we're talking about the same things, by the way, we're all talking about lowering energy costs, getting rules and regulations under control, securing America's border, making sure we don't have a tax increase so we can get our economy moving again and lower inflation. Those are all things we talked about during the campaign. President Trump talked about them. We talked about them. So there is no daylight between us and President Trump. You know, and if you go back to 2017, there was a little bit of a difference between the president and Congress. You don't see that today. We're in sync. We're moving together. We had a great meeting at the White House today with President Trump, and he's ready to go, and we're ready to go to deliver on that agenda.
Well, you were there for 3 hours today, right? Yeah. And you had a meeting, just you and Majority Leader Thune and the president. Right. Then you brought in the leadership. How did that go today?
It was great. Vice President J.D. Vance was there as well. And we talked about the agenda. We talked about the importance of unity and how we're all energized to get this agenda done. And the president's excited. We can really see and feel the energy that the American people feel. I mean, something has changed in Washington, and we had to bring America back. President Trump represents that. He's a symbol of that to people around the country. A strong America again. And you know what? It's good for us, and it's good for everybody, all freedom-loving people around the world. And you're going to see a sea change like that around the globe.
Big part of your job is going to be to keep everybody together. How do you plan to make that work?
Well, the same way we did it last time. The last 2 years, we had 222 members, and everybody wants to focus on the fact that it's a small majority. Sean, it's a majority. Yeah. We have the majority.
Good point.
And what I want to point out is that with 222, 221, and many times during the last Congress with less than that, because members have lives outside of here and they got to deal with illnesses and different things, we did it with less numbers. This group, the beauty of the Republican Party and these members, these men and women who have been sent here, they're fighting for their districts, and sometimes it doesn't look pretty because they're going to have disagreements, etc. But I'm here to tell you, under Mike's leadership and this whole group, we're going to get the job done at the end of the day. Failure is not an option.
There you go.
Right. Okay, so I appreciate that. I'll go back to you, Mr. Speaker. The House and Senate have very different rules. In the Senate, reconciliation, you have to meet a lot of criteria to get that through. That means there's got to be a lot of coordination between you and the majority leader to get the language right. Does that hurt your ability to get it through the House? You want one bill. I know that a lot of senators, when they met with Donald Trump, they were pushing very hard for 2 bills. I don't care if it's 1 bill or 2 bills, as long as you get it done quickly, especially on the economy, because that'll impact all of you. If you all want to be reelected, the economy better be in better shape.
Yes, and you know, there's more Republicans in the majority in the Senate than there are in the House for the first time in a long time. So we have a more complicated equation to work out here and a smaller margin, but we will get it done. Reconciliation is the mechanism that allows us to do this in a partisan way, so that it's Republican priorities that we squeeze into this. The reason the president talked about the one big beautiful bill, and the reason we talk about it as well, is because that's the most efficient and effective way to get it done. And if we stay on the aggressive timetable that we're on right now, we've been working on this for almost a year, preparing for this moment.
If you pass that one big beautiful bill, you pass it in the House, it gets sent over to the Senate.
Yep.
What do you think happens there?
I think we get it done by the end of April or certainly by Memorial Day.
Will the Senate, will they mark it up and you go into conference, or will they try to, you know, separate it into 2 bills?
Well, if we're going to go for speed, we have to be closely coordinated, both chambers, and we are. I mean, I think the House Republicans and Senate Republicans are working as closely now, probably maybe that they ever have. And the reason we were at the White House today to begin the first day, I mean, they're literally, you know, they're unpacking boxes at the Oval Office today, and the president hosted us because we don't have any time to waste, and it's serious business. And it was a great meeting. You know, there's a lot of cooperation right now, and we're going to continue that.
He's been working. I live down in Florida, and I can tell you, because I talk to people around him and I talk to him, the guy does not stop working.
No, never does he sleep, Sean.
He doesn't stop talking or working.
Yeah.
I've talked to him every hour on the 24-hour day clock. Congresswoman, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Let's get your thoughts on one bill, two bills. Does it matter? How quickly? And how do you keep a small margin together?
Well, I think the beauty is we all agree at the same principle. We have to deliver to what for the American people. They sent us a mandate, as Speaker Johnson said, and it's our job to fulfill that mandate, and we will fulfill that mandate. I think right now we're sitting at one bill. But at the end of the day, the American people and President Trump, we care about getting results. That is more important than anything. And President Trump has been very clear on that, is this is the result I want. We prefer one bill in the House. We've been clear about that. And I think as we stand right now, we're going to put one bill on the floor, and we'll be very successful doing it.
Let me ask all four of you the same question. Republican Party, all the years I've been in talk radio, believe it or not, I started before Speaker Johnson was born in 1987. And we've talked about limited government and greater freedom. We talk about eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. Every year it comes up. It never happens. And if you reduce the rate of increase, they call it a cut, and you're stealing from grandma and grandpa, and you want them to eat dog food and cat food and die, and some Republican lookalike is going to push them off a cliff. Okay. Now you have something called DOGE. You know, the new department, government efficiency, Elon Musk, smart guy. He believes he can cut $2 trillion. And my question for everybody in this room, are you ready to really reduce the size of government by $2 trillion so that we stop robbing from our children and our grandchildren? Is this the party of limited government?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes? And when you're going to cut the farm budget, and then you're going to cut the Department of Education and block grant money to the states at a lower rate, you're willing to take that stand and risk re-election?
Yeah. Well, because it's going to do right by the American people, and they will see the results of that. I mean, we are the party of limited government. We want to scale down the size and scope of government. It's too big. It does too many things. It does almost nothing well. And Elon is coming to recognize that. But we've been talking about this for a long, long time. And we have pages and pages of cuts we're prepared to engage in. We're working on the consensus so that every district and every Republican gets on board with that. And we're going to deliver.
Think of all the slush funds, Sean. You know, the Inflation Reduction Act, that created the inflation that we see because it was trillions of new spending. The EV mandate. People don't want to buy the cars. You get $7,500 that somebody who's driving a pickup truck has to give to somebody who wants to go buy an electric vehicle. You can't even find a charging station for the thing. There's billions of dollars sitting in a slush fund that we're going to go take back and give to the taxpayer of America. Get rid of those things altogether. So it's not just about reducing spending. It's about getting rid of some of this waste that's out there in government. We're going to do that in the reconciliation bill.
Why would we make Ford lose $4.5 billion to make cars that their customers don't want? When you have Tesla, if you want to, I'm pro-choice in this sense. You want an electric, you want a hybrid, you want a gas-powered vehicle, have at it. I'm not buying your global warming crap when you're flying around the country and the world in your private jet. Thank you for the lectures. We don't need it. And let the free market determine that, Congressman.
I totally agree. And back to your question about you got DOGE, everything else. Would it surprise you, Sean, because it doesn't get reported, the men and women that make up the Republican conference here in the U.S. House of Representatives, this is what they came for. They came to solve the deficit that we run on an annual basis of $1.7 to $2 trillion. They came to get the balanced budget and then start to pay off the debt so our kids aren't saddled with our excess.
Last word.
The beauty of President Trump is he comes to this presidency with some unconventional, out-of-the-box thinking and ideas. That's very different than what we've seen under the previous administration, and I think it's going to take unconventional thoughts and policies to get us out of the situation that we're in right now, and that's what we're excited about.
I think this Congress, if you enact this Trump agenda, everyone watching in this audience knows what it is, you can be the most transformational Congress in history. We've not balanced the budget since Newt Gingrich was Speaker. I did it 5 times.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break. Good to see you all. Thank you. When we come back, the one and only, he's even wearing a jacket tonight. Jim Jordan, James Comer, straight ahead. We'll also talk about the last-minute pardons of Joe Biden, that and more as we continue. We're live in our nation's capital. Straight ahead.